AJ Ryzik here, and today we're going to take a look at how to add the Nemo file browser to your Ubuntu based distribution. Now if you're not familiar with Nemo is the default file manager for Cinnamon. Now, very nice. If you've never used Nemo before, it's a very nice file manager. Got all kinds of features that really nice to have. And at least as far as I'm concerned, it just beats the pants off of Nautilus. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to walk you through how to do this installation, and then after that we'll take a look at Nemo, some of the features, and why you should, at that point you should probably see why I prefer it over Nautilus, which is the default as a default file manager for Ubuntu. The file manager in Ubuntu Gnome, which is now called Files, is I don't know if you want to call it a derivative of Nautilus, or just as they've developed it, they've renamed it Files, but in either case it's basically Nautilus as well. And there's other distributions that use Nautilus as the file manager. But anyway, after we get looking at the features, I think you'll see why I prefer this other file manager. Alright, so I learned about this via Web Update, which if you've never been to that website, definitely worth taking a look at, because they got all kinds of Ubuntu news, what's new, as well as various PPAs for installing icons, background, software, that sort of thing. So here we are at the start of the article. Install Nemo with Unity patches and without Cinnamon dependencies in Ubuntu. Now, they were using, obviously they set this up for going in straight Ubuntu. I'm doing this on Ubuntu Gnome. It'll pretty much work on just about any desktop environment, at least from what I've seen so far. And what they've done is they've patched, well, let me back up a little bit. Normally Nemo needs various Cinnamon dependencies to function. They've patched Nemo so that it doesn't need those dependencies. So like I said, it should basically work in just about any desktop environment. Let me scroll on down here, and they've made this very simple so that you can do this installation. Just basically follow the directions. They got all your everything that you need to put into your terminal right here. Copy, paste. Paste in this install. Boom. Yes, I want to install it. And there's a variety of Nemo extensions. And I'm going to go and install basically all those. I'll throw a link up to this article so that you can see the all these different options and that sort of thing. You know, I'll tell you what, I'm going to pause the video. Oh, there we go. I thought it was going to take a little while longer. Let me go and install these extensions. There's also a Nemo terminal. I'm not going to add that extension myself, just because I already use this drop-down terminal. No real need for adding that as well. So, you know, no real need for it for myself, but you know, you may want to go and add that. Okay, so we're back. Everything's installed, ready to go. Boom. Now here is something interesting, and it's that, okay, like I said, I'm using Ubuntu Gnome, where the file manager is called Files. Well, so I added Nemo, and I did a search for Nemo. Nemo doesn't come up, but if you click on Files, I'm like, okay, that doesn't look right. Well, it's coming up as Nemo. So, you know, and maybe it's because that since Nemo is a fork of Nautilus, that you know, Ubuntu Gnome can't tell the difference. So, you know, I'd love to hear from those of you that are on that are using Unity. You know, if you do a search for Nautilus, if Nemo comes up, or you know how that ends up working out. I'm kind of curious on that. But anyway, let's take a look at what we got here. As it's set up now, you know, you've got we're on the left hand side, you've got, you know, your various folders, and then here's the breakdown of, you know, what's in the home or desktop, you know, whatever you select over here. Various file and edit options, view, different ways you want to view stuff, and probably my favorite feature for a file manager, they call it extra pane here, but setting up for dual pane view. And the reason why I like it so much, let me just give you an example here. Let's look at some of the stuff that I've got downloaded here. Okay, so we got all this stuff that's downloaded and that I've got in my downloads folder, and maybe I want to get rid of it, so or at least get rid of some of what's in there. So let's click on that over there, and let's open, oh, I don't know, in my documents file. Let's and we'll create a new folder in the documents file, and we'll call it Linux ISOs, because I download a lot of different ISOs with, you know, trying out different you know, different distributions. So we come over here and let's just select a bunch of these ISOs that I got here, and now I can just kind of swipe them over here to move them. And you know, with the old, not old, but you know, with the GNOME files, yeah, you could do and right click and do a copy to, and you'd get basically the same effect. But you know, I like this, you know, works pretty good there. There we go. You can see all that stuff that is now in that particular file folder. So anyway, that's one of the features that I like. And another, if you right click, there's a comparison. There's the move to Dropbox. In the case of that, this is a Debian file that I just right clicked on. Open with Ubuntu Software Center, open with whatever. So that kind of stuff is pretty cool. What else do we need to look at in the view? You can do various types of view, as far as we got an icon view, got a list view, compact view, which is just a basic simple list. I personally like the icon for most of the time. There are plenty of instances though when the list view is very I don't want to say as effective, but you know, useful, I guess you could say. Add some bookmarks, all that kind of stuff. And I believe, go to home, or actually file system, that's what I want. There. You can open in terminal. You can also do an open as root. You'll need to put in your authentication, but you know, like I said, you can open that as root, which is very cool to be able to do that by default. You know, there's ways that you can open Nautilus and other file browsers as well, that you can open them as root, but it's really cool that you can do it you know, by default here. Granted, if you're going to open something as root or open it in terminal, you better know what you're doing. But like I said, it's nice to have those features available. So anyway, that's pretty much about it. You know, if you give this a try on a different distribution, I'd love to hear how well it worked out. Like I said, you know, I'm on Ubuntu Gnome. I'd love to hear how it works out on Unity or Ubuntu or something like that. You know, drop me a message down in the comments. Let me know how it works. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, subscribe if you want to keep getting this great content. Give it a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And thanks a lot. See you next time.